Hi, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining this edition of Precision Nanosystems TeaTime Webinar series. Today we have Dr. Ruth Schmid, who's the Vice President of Marketing at SINTEF, based up in Norway. And today Ruth will talk about nanomedicines today and tomorrow. So just a quick update on your Precision Nanosystems team. If you do have any questions or queries, feel free to contact us at any time. So you have myself, Richard and Suha, who are based out of the UK. We have Sarah, who's based in France. And then we have Jürgen and Martin, who are based in Germany. So thanks very much for joining, and I'll hand it over to Ruth.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you very much, Ajay, for the kind introduction and for inviting me to give this webinar. So today I will share a few thoughts about nanomedicine today and tomorrow with you. I will define a little bit what nanomedicine is, what definition I will use, and then talk about nanomedicine today, tomorrow, and also about the changing ecosystem where we are in and the influence on the nanomedicine, and then shortly about the European Technology Platform in Nanomedicine and its role in Europe. So what is nanomedicine? Biotechnology has already and will also in the future revolutionize treatment of serious diseases, and in many cases also cure them. With biotechnology, we can discover novel drugs for both cancer and other diseases, for example, infections. We can use gene therapy to treat many diseases by selectively cut and paste genetic material, and we all know how immunotherapy already has revolutionized cancer treatment. But even if all those new technologies open for treatment of diseases that we only dreamed about to do in the past, there is still one big challenge in many instances. We have to deliver the drugs to the right place in the body. And that's where nanomedicine comes in. So the broad definition of nanomedicine is nanomedicine is the application of nanotechnology to achieve innovation in healthcare. And the word nanomedicine, it is used on one side to describe a product, a novel class of products, nanopharmaceuticals and nanoimaging agents, and newly also nanovaccines. More than 50 nanomedicine formulations are on the market and more than 400 in clinical trials. At this stage, parenteral administration dominates still, and lipid-based and polymeric nanoparticles dominate. But nanomedicine is also used for a scientific field. It is a novel field of research. Nanotechnology applied to health. It is a multidisciplinary field that connects many of the natural sciences fields that we know from before. And it also is a field that has applications along the whole continuum of integrated care, and it can have impact on all stages of the care cycle. So let's have a look at nanomedicine today. We all know that nanomedicine has a wide range of applications: diagnostics, medical imaging, nanotherapeutics, vaccines, regenerative medicine. Nanomedicine helps to make a new generation of therapeutics, and it is in a way combining biology and physics. On one side, we have had the biological, the chemical and the biological drugs, and on the other side, we have the nano objectives that become the active principle, and then we have the nanotechnology that supports the effect of molecules. When we are looking at the stage of a new technology, we can use the Gartner hype cycle. The Gartner hype cycle is a method that gives an overview on how a novel technology develops over time, from idea to full industrial establishment. It shows in a graphical way the maturity and adoption of technologies and how they can solve problems and utilize new opportunities. And if we now look at the Gartner hype cycle for nanomedicine, we can, I would say we had this innovation trigger at latest when Doxil in 1995 was approved. This really started and the expectations, they got very, very high, but then they reached a peak in 2005, around this time when Abraxane was approved. We reached a peak because after that there was a long time, a time of almost 12 years, where we had very little nanomedicine products making it to the market. But it's quite natural because this is typically for the development of new technology. And it's not different for nanomedicine as it is for other technologies, because after these big expectations, there often comes the disillusionment. But then something happened. Nanomedicine is now, in my opinion, in the slope of enlightenment, and it is getting closer and closer to the plateau of productivity. And why did this happen? We have a change from academic development to a systematic translational approach. And the basic understanding that we built over very many years of the interaction between nanomaterials and biology shows now results. And most of all, we have new success stories. We have 3 novel second-generation products with unique action mechanisms that reached the market between 2017 and 2019. And of course, now in 2020, we have the 2 nanovaccines that reached the market in a very short time. So I just want to shortly give you these success stories that we have, which really define the nanomedicine today. The first one is Vyxeos. Vyxeos is a liposome with a synergistic molar ratio of cytarabine to daunorubicin of 5:1. And it is FDA approved in 2017 for the treatment of acute myeloid leukemia. This is the first clinically approved nanoparticle to deliver a synergistic combination of 3 drugs. And it paves the way for new combination nanoparticle formulations. If we would have injected the 2 drugs in the same molar ratio, they wouldn't have reached the disease site in this correct ratio because they would have had their individual biodistributions. The next one is Onpattro. Onpattro, lipid nanoparticle RNA for the knockdown of the disease-causing TTR protein, approved in 2018. This is the first clinically approved RNA therapy delivering nanoparticle. And in fact, it is the first FDA-approved RNA in general. And it demonstrates how nanoparticles can be used to enable delivery of highly challenging therapeutics to humans. And then we have Hensify. Hensify are crystalline hafnium oxide nanoparticles that enhance the external radiotherapy via a physical mode of action. And they are approved in 2019 for the treatment of locally advanced soft tissue sarcoma. This product has a unique mechanism of action, and it represents the next generation of nanoparticle therapeutics that can provide a therapeutic benefit in a complementary and possibly synergistic way to standard therapeutic modalities. And of course, now we have the success stories of last year. The rapid development, approval, and administration of the SARS-CoV-2 vaccines are truly one of the most astonishing accomplishments in the history of medicine. And nanomedicine is a part of this history. This is important. The field of nanomedicine will have large-scale, validated, and sustained safety and efficacy data, at least for lipid nanoparticles. And these will help to address the unknown risks. As adverse events are analyzed and understood, this will help to maintain the paradigm shift away from what are the unknown risks of nanomedicine to what clinical solutions can we solve with nanomedicine. And this will open the door to translational nanomedicine applications beyond these vaccines. And now, of course, this is the bridge to nanomedicine tomorrow, and how nanomedicine tomorrow will fit into the changing ecosystem that we are seeing. We have to build on the success stories from the last years. We have to use this large phase 4 trial of the COVID vaccines to address, study, and understand the unknown risks of nanomedicines. We have to use this knowledge to maintain the paradigm shift away from the unknown risks and on future applications beyond the vaccines and beyond lipid nanoparticles. So we have to use these lessons learned now to and transfer them to other diseases, treatments, and vaccines, to other types of nanocarriers, to various administration routes. And also very important, we now have a control nanoparticle system for comparison. This has always been a challenge. What should we compare our new nanomedicines with? Now we have an LNP that we have a lot of data for, so we can use this as comparison for new nanomedicines that we develop. And of course, then we also can proceed towards more complex systems with active targeting, combination drug delivery, and so on. But what is also important is we have to adapt to the new health tech environment. Nanomedicine is one of the science-driven revolution, is part of the science-driven revolution, but we also have a technological-driven revolution. And all these disruptive technologies, they have to work together. We have to use them together to revolutionize the healthcare. There is a new ecosystem coming up. At least in Europe, there is a new industrial ecosystem coming up, a cross-industries, cross-business model system. The medical device, pharma, biotech, and ICT industry together have partnered now in a European partnership on health innovation. This new partnership, European partnership, called Innovation Healthcare Initiative, IHI, in this partnership, 5 industrial associations partner up together with the Horizon Europe funding program and put in a lot of money, more than 2 billion euros, in calls to solve cross-industrial challenges, health challenges, where the industry has to work together. So if we now see that we get this new industry ecosystem, it means that also the technology providers and nanomedicine included, we have to react on that. So in a European project, the Nobel project, where ETPN was the coordinator, we started a process to work together, different European technology organizations. So we have started to build a cross-technology ecosystem, an ecosystem across all the different key enabling technologies. And this collaboration is called the Health Tech for EU Alliance. This alliance will be a one-stop shop for health tech solution providers to address medical challenges. Here in this slide, you can see the 8 European technology organizations that are now discussing together how to build this health tech for EU alliance. 7 out of the 8 already have signed the memorandum of understanding. And together, they will then provide technological solutions for the cross-industrial challenges. So it means key enabling technologies have to be used in synergy in the future. Together, we can, the R&D evolution needs that we work together. Take an example. We can't really develop a new nanopharmaceutical that is targeting the correct biological target if we don't have biomarkers, if we don't understand the disease biology. So biotechnology and nanotechnology, they have to work together. Also then with microfluidics for the smart production, with photonics, and with also important with digital key enabling technologies. Together, we can address unmet healthcare needs with innovative nanotechnology-based solutions for the benefit of the patients in a cross-cut approach. There are still gaps that towards clinical translation important for nanomedicine, and we also need to have focus on those. There are lack in access to relevant preclinical characterization and safety assessment protocols and facilities. There are lacks in access to scale-up and GMP production lines. There is still an uncertainty and fragmentation in the regulatory framework. And there are lacks in access to clinical trials that are adapted to and relevant for nanomedicines. And there is also a lack in education, in business management, in academia. Of course, the SARS-CoV-2 vaccines, they will already contribute to reduce some of these gaps, but still we need to have focus on them. We can also see an evolution of the R&D ecosystem. We have a technology pool here, and in this pool has been filled with new technologies and smart technologies, good technologies, the last 15, 20 years. And without having had this technology pool, we wouldn't have been able to develop the COVID-19 vaccine so fast. But we can see now a trend, at least in Europe, and I would assume it's global, that funding programs have a very high focus on challenges, on unmet healthcare needs. So they fund projects that have high TRL. So we are in a funding system that is mostly based on technology pool. So we draw technologies from this technology pool, but it is very important that we as nanomedicine scientists, that we advocate for also funding for technology push, low TRL, basic understanding, disruptive new technologies, because we need now to fill the technology pool with new technologies that can solve the not yet known challenges we will have in 10, 15 years. So it's really important that we manage to get funding for both types of projects. A few words now on ETPN. What is ETPN? The European Technology Platform on Nanomedicine. ETPN was in 2005 created as a common initiative from industry and the European Commission to shape and support the ecosystem of nanomedicine in Europe, to define R&D priorities, to mobilize the stakeholders, and to foster translation. Since 2015, ETPN is an independent association according to French law. It has more than 120 member organizations from 25 European countries, and the members come from all the different stakeholder groups. The mission is to address unmet healthcare needs with innovative nanotechnology-based solutions for the benefit of the patients. ETPN has had and has a strategic role to coordinate the joint research efforts of its members and to improve the coordination amongst them, as well as also towards the European Commission and the member states. ETPN has also contributed and encouraged the Commission for a strong and strategic European public funding of nanomedicine for more than 10 years. And for example, in the Horizon 2020 program, 50% of the calls in the area of nanomedicine were proposed by the ETPN based on the ETPN strategic research and innovation agenda. ETPN also has built the Translation Hub, a central instrument to support and accelerate the development of the best nanomedicine projects. And it has 3 parts: mentoring, characterization, and manufacturing, which are all challenges in the translation from an idea to a product. The Translation Advisory Board has coached more than 110 projects and given more than 2,000 hours of coaching. The EUNCL is a sister organization to or a sister infrastructure to the NCI-NCL, and has helped characterize approximately 30 different products. And then also there have been built 3 pilot lines for GMP production. Unfortunately, at the moment, all these 3 bodies don't have funding. They didn't get more funding from the Commission, so all 3 are in a position now where they try to find solutions to still be able to help the nanomedicine developers in their translation in the future in a sustainable way. So to summarize and to give you my personal key takeaway message, I'm convinced that nanomedicine will have a bright future if we use the knowledge well and build on the lessons learned from the success story of the COVID-19 vaccines. And if we continue to tear down silo walls and work together in a multidisciplinary environment, a multi-technology environment, a multi-industrial environment, and a multi-stakeholder environment, and if we succeed to get future funding, both for challenge-driven projects and for disruptive technology-driven projects. Finally, let me just remind you that the Nanomed Europe conference is in 2 weeks. It's unfortunately not in St. Gallen, like we see on the picture, where it would have been without COVID. So it is fully virtual, and I hope to see many of you virtually at this conference. Thank you for your kind attention.
Yes, thanks very much. Yeah, really interesting, very interesting insight and thoughts on the future of nanomedicine as well. Unfortunately, that is all we have time for just at the moment. I can see we have lots of questions and comments coming in the chat. So if we haven't been able to answer them live, we will get back to you and follow up to continue this discussion. So all that remains for me to say now is firstly, thank you very much to everyone who's attended today. We hope you found it as interesting as we did. And as always, your attendance and participation is much appreciated. And thanks very much, of course, to our speaker, Ruth Schmid. Excellent, very interesting overview and insight into nanomedicine, very thought-provoking, provided a lot of thought for questions, as we can see through the audience. And finally, thanks everyone once again for attending, and there will be another TeaTime webinar in a month's time on September the 22nd, and we're very much looking forward to welcoming you all and seeing you all again then. Thank you very much.
Thank you.